What is happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We are out here at Waco, Texas, playing the course called Brazos, I believe is what the locals call it, for the Waco Annual Charity Open Tournament. And this is gonna be my first official PDGA sanctioned tournament. We're in. We're doing it. Me and Paul are gonna be on the live card together. Yep. So if you want to tune in this Thursday, I believe at like 2 o'clock Central.
1:30.
1:30 Central. I probably should know exactly what time to show up.
You can go up at 3 o'clock.
I just roll up. The links and all that will be in the description down below. We're gonna do a couple holes here. We got Big Germ here. We got Paul, and Nick is in the back there as well. We're gonna do a couple holes here of just kind of showing how wooded this course is. You can see this is one of the holes. It's some tight tunnel gaps here, which is gonna be awesome for a lot of different shaping shots. And we got someone that basically throws a lot of forehands, and we got someone that basically throws a lot of backhands. So I'll leave it to you guys on what throw you're throwing and why. If you want to throw yours first, Paul, or you want to explain it?
I'm going backhand buzz. I just want to hit this tunnel as clean as possible and just have a soft fade to the left, leave myself with a decent upshot. This is a par 4, a shorter one, but just gotta get out the gap is the main point.
Kind of like that. That's pretty much perfect.
That's going to set Paul up for an easy approach, probably a long jump putt for pretty easy birdie. But this opportunity for a forehand play definitely opens up the opportunity for a potential eagle look. So the fairway kind of wraps out to the left, it goes back down a hill and back up a gully, but it's actually reachable for a forehand if you have 400 plus feet. And what you want to do with the forehand is start it off to the right with something that can hold a long turnover and then have a little bit of fade back at the end. I've got a Star Wraith. It's very attackable for myself, but also anytime you hit one of these early trees, you're in a lot of trouble. So it's very important that you get clean off the tee.
I think he likes that.
I like that a lot. It needs to be about 4 or 5 feet higher, and if it was, I think I'd be down there in the gully. Right now, I'm probably pretty close to where Paul is, so it's pretty easy jump up for the birdie.
Okay, so there was some slight controversialness to me playing on the feature card for this tournament. I want to talk about that real quick. So for those that don't know, this is a Disc Golf Pro Tour event. I think they have like 8 or 9. How many tournaments do they have, Paul? 10? So they have 10 events. This is the second one. And they do basically a live card where they'll actually do live streaming. Obviously, that's the one that me and Paul are on. And then there's a couple other people like Jomez and some others that are gonna be filming other cards as well. Now, obviously being on the live card, it's kind of a big honor, right? Paul?
Yeah, most people are chosen to be on the feature card.
Yeah, the feature card, excuse me. Yeah, the feature live card.
Yep.
So Paul won last year, so he got on. Kale, I think, is getting on from Sponsor Pick. The tournament pick, I think, is Drew Gibson.
Yeah.
And then the Disc Golf Pro Tour Network chose me. Now, there was obviously some comments that I saw on the internet and on Twitter, basically people talking about how, yeah, these were all of our shots right here, all 3 buzzes. But there were some people talking about how, you know, I didn't earn it. There's a lot of people out there grinding for a spot, and, you know, those are the people that should be on there. Now, when I was asked a couple days ago whether or not I wanted to be on the feature card, I needed to take a couple days to kind of think about it. And I talked to a lot of people thinking what their opinion was. I think the big picture is I'm trying to do whatever I can to help grow this sport and get more people falling in love with it and playing it. And if I can be on the feature card and share that with all you guys, I think that's gonna do hopefully wonders for the sport and get more people playing. So kind of, I guess some people are liking it, some people aren't. It's up to, I mean, I don't know. I think
regardless what card you would have played on, someone would have put a camera to film it, so why not just do it on a feature card so everyone can watch together?
It's also a good point. All right, we're gonna bounce over to the actual footage. You can see this is the gully here, but you guys can let me know in the, oh my gosh, you almost made it. You guys can let me know in the comments what you think about it. But again, all the information for the live card will be in the description down below. Okay, we're moving on to the next hole. I'm gonna ask each one of you a question though, because I'm curious to hear what would you say for a beginner first time ever playing in a tournament, not necessarily like a big one like this, but just any tournament, their first tournament, best piece of advice? Put you on the spot. Paul, you want to go?
I always like,
Yeah, you
the
caught me off
eyesight, you're
guard,
like,
dude.
all right, what do you got?
I think my biggest thing, and not just beginners, first time tournaments, but just anything, is just go in with no expectations. Go in there, try your best. You know, if it's your first tournament, don't expect to go in there, win, dominate. Just go in there with no expectations and then learn from it after that.
To rebuttal that comment, I'm gonna say go in there with the highest expectations. Think that you're the champion and
Oh,
go
gosh.
out there and just sledgehammer the competition. And if you don't, quit and never come back and play again, because it's probably not for you. No, I have to say, you know, Paul makes a good point. You know, going out there and when you're playing a tournament, you know, you're taking that casual thing that you've done with your friends and you're making it very serious. You know, you're taking it to a level where you're playing with sanctioned rules and you're trying to develop, well, we have a player rating in our sport. It's kind of like a handicap. And when you do that, you know, people can get really nervous about, oh my gosh, this number represents how good I am. But when you start focusing on all the things that don't really matter, that's when you can lose fun of what the sport is. I mean, disc golf is amazing. If you go out and play, you're gonna know this is a sport you're gonna want to keep playing. It's great, it sells itself. So go out there and enjoy the sport and have fun with it. And once you realize that you might not be having fun, you know, take yourself back to that point where you realize why you were out here and doing it. And that's how you can enjoy the game for years and years.
I like it. And one practice tip I would say, and this is coming from my like golf side, a lot of people when they do like pick up practice rounds or whatever, they basically will like throw a 15-foot putt and miss and be like, oh, I would have made that if I was paying, you know, trying or any of this. When you get in a tournament, there's no more of that. Like there's no more like gimmies, even at 10 feet. And you have that pressure. So if you're able to play a couple practice rounds prior where you're like, every throw, I'm gonna count it, every putt, I'm gonna count it and put pressure on yourself, when you get in a tournament, it won't be as scary. Jeremy, what do you got on this hole?
I'm going with my AVR X3. It's a pretty slow disc, and this is a really short hole. This is all about hitting this very narrow corridor. It's a very low ceiling. Right past the green, there's a downslope that takes you into the thick woods. So if you don't have the right speed coming into the green, you're gonna skip past that hill and you're gonna have a tough putt for your birdie coming back. So not only is it about hitting this initial gap, but you also have to have the right nose up speed, and you want the disc to check up as close as you can to that 10, 15 feet.
Spot.
Spot.
That's
inside good, yeah.
circle, you got to putt.
Yeah, hitting around the circle's edge, let it slide up to about 15 to 10 spot.
Money.
There you go. We'll go with the backhand here, the Barnum Buzz SS. What I try to do here is actually land it short of the basket and let it kind of just slide up. There's kind of a drop off on the right, but I don't, this is one that we were talking about actually previously, is I'm not aiming at the basket. I'm just trying to hit the gap, because the basket's kind of trying to trick you where you think, oh, I want to park this. So you'll turn it over into these trees or kind of just make a mistake. I'm just trying to play it straight, and if anything, tail a little left, and it's really only 15 feet from the basket. But
And if you hit the gap here, you're going to make a par.
oh, yeah.
Okay.
Right down the middle. It's putt.
Money. All right, walking up. We won't show how far. Okay, I actually
we
am.
have to show
No,
it.
I am showing how far you are. But he's probably going to can it, honestly. This is what they would call a death putt, because anything over here, you're dead. Oh! Oh, he stopped right there. Second guy's always better than the first guy. Oh, there it is. He was just trying to show us. Guys, he's so good. He was literally just showing us how bad a shot can be.
Paul did it too. Paul did it from 15, so I mean, hey, even the best in the
Anyone
world
can do it. All right, that's the death putt there. Paul had one more tip too that he wanted to give you guys. If you're doing your first tournament, make sure you kind of wake up, depending on when your tee time is, obviously. If your tee time's in the afternoon, you don't have to wake up early, but you want to make sure before you leave the house or before you leave the hotel or wherever you're staying, make sure you have everything. Like double check. Pencils, all your discs, towels, markers, whatever it is that you need, make sure you have everything, because the last thing you want to worry about when you get to the course is, oh crap, I forgot this, or I don't have this, or whatever, and now you're scrambling and you're just adding more pressure to your round. And then Nick, you had something too. What was your tip?
I was gonna say, make sure you eat healthy the night before.
Ooh.
And come out and just practice the course until you're confident the week prior.
Darkhorse, healthy Nick.
Yeah.
Oh, going down the left gap, almost absolutely perfect. That was the first time I've seen anyone try to go down the left gap.
Yeah.
That's the forehand gap, huh?
Super flip gives me, I can just stab that hyzer and let that disc stand up the whole way. And then once it gets to that point where it's passing those trees, that disc is understable enough that it's going to continue to flip up flat, maybe even turn over left. And once it clears that hill, once it's turning over left and clearing the hill, it gets me even more distance. It really puts you in that real sweet money zone, but it's super talented. I mean, super tricky
of a shot.
Yeah, it requires a lot of elements to just come together perfectly.
And this is a hole that was a par 5, now is a par 4. They've changed 2 other holes as well. Really just making this year a lot more difficult for the guy that just threw to not shoot 18 under.
Yeah, that's not an 18 under shot right there.
Yeah.
But no, this one's a tight wooded, as you saw Derm and I throw. My mistake was probably where I want to make it, is make it a little bit left so I can still attack the fairway up there. See, Derm's in the same spot right there, but we can save par from there. If you go on the right side, very difficult to save your par, let alone even have a look at birdie. So
on the tee shot, you guys are thinking about like your misses. Like if I do miss, I want to err on this miss, because if I'm over here, I'm really screwed.
I think it's a huge,
you
kind of shaping shots to where, like, even if you throw a bad one, you're still okay.
Yeah, I think percentages is the biggest way that I look at it. Like, what gap am I more likely to hit? And then if I do have my mistake, do I want it to be left? Do I want it to be right, long, short? So that does come into consideration. This one, you don't really have to worry about your speed on the long end, just more so what disc you need to throw to hit that shape. Because I'd rather make my mistake deep here, because then I'm at least down there looking at the possible chance at birdie.
Yeah, I mean, damage management is all about golf. I mean, golf is essentially knowing where your misses and makes are, and if you can play to the highest percentage like Paul's talking about, but also giving yourself an opportunity that air is, present, you can, try to put yourself in a position where if you don't hit your ideal shot, you can still be in a place where par is still part of the equation, and you're not getting yourself those big numbers, which really takes you
especially out here, a course like this that's so brutal.
Yeah, I mean, look at the rough right here behind you. Like
this is what it is. So if you're in there, really all you can really do is a pitch out. So
let me show you real quick.
Oh, here we go. We're gonna have a personal demonstration of what happens if you're. Look at that. You can barely even see him. That's not where you want it. That's all you can do. That's not what you want.
So, yeah, left side's a little bit more open on this hole, and then if you can step out with your right hand more, for us as right hand dominant players, we can actually reach out of the woods like Derm was in and still pitch it down to the landing zone.
Versus a backhand where you're just like stuck in there.
You're kind of stuck. Your whole arm has to move. At least with the forehand, you can literally just do it with your flick.
Flick it.
Yeah, if you need. So you can see my lie right here. With the mistake left is it's not as thick over here, but I actually still have a chance to hit the fairway, and possibly if I can get around that corner, get up and have a look for birdie. As to the right side, it'd be a little pinch. I wouldn't be able to make this shot. So. Wasn't the most ideal tee shot, but I have a pretty decent result.
Except for that stick that's trying to go up your butt.
That's enough. The safe play there is dropped to me.
It flips. It is. Oh man.
It wasn't that good, but the height was bad.
But you got a good shot at like an easy par here.
Yeah, easy par from there. I'm only like 60 feet, 65 feet.
I'm gonna give you a pro tip. Paul's only been playing for a few years, but there's a couple things you pick up being a veteran that I am. This thing's dead and unattached, and if it is in your lie or behind your lie, you can move it. So Paul didn't have to necessarily have that thing shoved up his butt, but
is it unattached? Are you sure?
I think it is.
I don't know. It looks like it goes right to the ground.
Yeah, this is a ruling situation, and
we're gonna get a marshal over here. We're gonna clarify.
We're gonna call him marshal. We'll let you guys know. Yeah. All right, we'll be back to you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Paul now for what would be an insane putt.
Right side?
He's trying to ask advice for Big Germ to tell him where he should putt it. I think Big Germ should putt this afterwards, just to see. Oh, he goes through that gap. Oh my gosh, he hit the cage.
So most pros would probably try to
throw a hammer.
Yeah, most people would try to do that first. I've got a secondary option.
Oh boy.
Air bounce.
Oh boy, I already know.
Yeah.
If you don't know yet, you're in for a treat.
Call this the pterodactyl claw, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, gave it a look. All right, guys, that is going to end this little kind of short course preview / tournament prep to my first ever tournament video, or tournament round rather. And again, thanks so much for all the support. I do really appreciate it. Hopefully you guys will tune in on Thursday. Again, the link and all the information will be in the section down below. And hopefully you tune in, man. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm playing with 3 incredible disc golfers, so you really can see kind of where the talent can go when you start getting up there. And hope to see you there. Thanks to all these guys for all their knowledge, insight. Make sure you check them out on their Instagrams in the comment section down below. And until next time, guys, hopefully see you Thursday. Keep slinging them discs.